Train the muscles, not the joints. So from time to time, or almost daily now, I get a question from somebody talking about their training program, say, is this a good training program or is this a bad training program I'm doing? I'm doing a 2-day split or 3-day split. So I just want to kind of get rid of some of the fallacies or misconceptions around this concept, okay? First of all, let's talk about splits. If I talk about a 2-day split, if I say you're doing a 2-day split, that means you're splitting the body into 2 different days, and you may repeat that over and over for the week. So you might train 6 days a week on a 2-day split. Okay, if you do a 1-day split, that means you're doing the whole body in 1 day. You might train 6 days a week like that, or 2 days a week, right? That's up to you. So what type of split you're on doesn't actually dictate how many days off you're taking. Okay, first of all, so I just want to kind of get that clear because there was a few people out there that were kind of misunderstanding that. Second of all, there is the right training program for you. And I always talk about this. The right training program for you in this moment could be any number of programs. It could be like an infinite number. I mean, there's not really as much right and wrong as people think, but there are some ways to efficiently use your energy in order to accomplish a goal, okay? So one way is you increase intensity through volume. Another way is you increase intensity through intensity based on weight, you know, like you're using heavier weights and stuff. Now that could be dangerous on the joints if you go too extreme, but that is a form of intensity. Another way is you increase frequency. So you train the body part more frequently at the same volume all week, right? And basically there's a lot of different variations of these programs. And I have done a lot of different programs and I like a lot of different programs, but the one that I stick to mainly is the frequency type program where I do the 2-day split and then the odd day I throw the whole body workout in just to shift things up, okay? Now, how did I come to this, okay? And I'm going to teach you right now how to feel your way into the right program for you. All right? So just listen closely to this, okay? Because I know some of you guys have been skimming through my videos and I don't like that. But anyway, the bottom line is that I feel my way through what's the right program for me. So a few of these ways are that I feel myself to the program is this. I will train one day and then I'll ask myself, secondly, am I sore or am I a little tight, or do I at least feel pumped in the area the day after, right? And then I ask myself, okay, how long does that pump last? How long do I feel like that muscle is kind of tight and engorged and it feels good and strong? How long does that last? Sometimes it'll last a day, sometimes it'll last 3 days, sometimes it'll last 2 days. This will all be dependent on volume, okay? So if you do a 3-day split and you know when you train legs on Monday, right? And then by the time Thursday comes around, you're gonna train legs again. If your legs have been kind of feeling flat and almost like they're been recovered for 2 or 3 days, that means that you either need to up your volume, up your intensity, or up your frequency, right? That's how I felt my way through this, okay? So assuming your diet is the same amongst all the training programs, assuming your sleep's the same, all this kind of stuff, and the one variable that's changing is your training routine, now you have to go on, how do you feel? You know, is my muscle feeling pumped? Does this muscle still feel like, you know, there's something there, there's air in there, it's almost like it gets filled up, you know? That is a good way of measuring whether you have a positive nitrogen balance in your muscle. And this is how I would choose my frequency, okay? Because I would feel my way through it. I would be like, okay, my muscles feel totally flat. It feels like I haven't trained them for a month, you know? They're not sore, nothing. They don't feel big. They feel small and almost out of air, you know? So I'm like, okay, well that means I need to pump them up again. I need to actually go and stimulate them again because they're starting to adapt to being flaccid instead of pumped and strong. Okay, so this is kind of how you can feel your way through your own training program instead of just asking for a template all the time and saying, what's the right thing, what's the bad thing? The right thing is going to be basically told to you through how you feel with your training. And that's really what I take you through when you tune into me or call me or we do a phone session, okay? This is what I'll do is I'll say, okay, how do you feel? What's going on here? What's your strength like? What are the signs and signals that are telling us how that program is working out for you? And then from there we can make decisions. But it's impossible for me to say, okay, this is the right training program for anybody, and all I'm seeing is just a profile picture and maybe a little bit of, you know, saying, hey, I'm doing a 3-day split or I'm doing 3 whole body workouts in a week. Is this the right thing for me? It's like, well, there's a lot of variables to that question that I need to answer before I can really give you the right answer to that. And like I said, just because one training program might be good for you doesn't mean there isn't 10 other training programs that are also good for you, okay? So don't get too married on having the perfect training program. Get married to being aware and feeling your way through any training program that you're on, and therefore that will teach you how to adjust the variables as you go. Okay, so I hope this helps you a little bit. I mean, I know it's a very big subject, very confusing, whatever. You can leave comments down below and I'll make other videos that are additions to this video if you want, answering those questions, and we'll get deeper into it, okay? So thanks for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com and take care for now.